Good evening. Welcome to the latest edition of the Storm Report Live. We are presented by the pharmacy in Bennington and Manchester, Vermont, GC Tractor, Bennington Rescue Squad, the King's Bread, and Ramontos and North Adams. Today's guests Troy Trent Jr. and Mike. I wanted to take this opportunity to let you guys kind of introduce yourselves, since with all the virus stuff going on, none of you guys have really had the opportunity to really meet any of the teammates or coaches. I think you've really only met me so far. So we're going to take this opportunity to kind of get to know each other a little bit better and kind of learn your stories just a little bit. So ultimately, I want to tell your football story too, to kind of give an idea as far as what you guys have been through. So I'm going to start with Trent. Trent, where did the love of the game come from? What attracted you to the game of football?
It was organic. You know what I mean? As soon as I was old enough to hold a football and play organized, organized sports, that was one of the games that, I was first introduced to. And pretty much I just had an ongoing support. And from the community I was in at the time, they kind of built it up a little bit, made me love the game a lot more and feel like I had talents to show off.
How about you, Mike?
I started football a little bit later in life. I started at like 11 or 12 years old. And at first, I didn't know how I felt about it. I was kind of thrown to the wolves, so to speak. And it wasn't until, I'd say, 8th grade, freshman year of high school that I realized that I can make a career out of the game. I'm just an aggressive person by nature, and football allows me to let all my aggression out on the field. And it makes life a little bit easier being able to do that and whatnot. By high school, I was playing on varsity as a freshman, and that's when I realized I was good enough to play the game, and I enjoyed doing what I was doing.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Especially, having the outlet to kind of let off some steam. That's something that I think a lot of people are missing right now. So I totally understand exactly where you're coming from with that answer. So, Troy, what age did you begin playing football, and who inspired you to play football?
Honestly, inspiration more so came just from watching the game. Being where I was from, it was a large football community, so that was just one of the sports that everybody happened to be more exclusive into. Between basketball and football, at least. But it was more so pretty much, all right, you're gonna try a couple of sports, see how much you like them, and then just carry on.
Gotcha. Well, I have the same question for you, Mike. Where'd that kind of all come together?
I was just trying to find my niche, so to speak. I did martial arts, boxing, stuff like that as a kid, and I didn't really get into like an organized sport till football. My father really never played football. He was kind of all about getting a job.
Oh, there he is. All right. I think we lost you, Mike.
But we can't hear him.
There he is. Yep. All right, hold on there, Mike. You got a little bit of a hiccup there. You still hear me all right? All right, so we're gonna kind of I'm not sure what he had going on there, so we're gonna try to add him in again here in a second. So I'm gonna move on back to you, Troy. What was your earliest football memory looking back at it?
Oh man, that's funny. Probably when I was about 7 or 8 years old, and it's probably one of my first times actually being on the field as a registered running back, being a little pudgy little 6, 7, 8-year-old, whatever it was, getting the handoff right up the middle, going between like 7 guys, jetted off for like 70 yards, got hawked at like the 5-yard line. The kid that tackled me ended up like clipping me. I fell right on top of the ball, lost all the wind within my body, and just remembering like all the coaches and like my dad and stuff coming up, and they're like, "Yo, like you good?" First thing I could say is like, "I need some water." And they're like, "Yeah, I bet you do need some water." Yeah,
no doubt, no doubt. Yeah. So Mike, you back with us again? I don't know what's going on with him, but you there, Mike? All right, I'm gonna pop him out here again. Am I hearing you, Mike?
Yeah, I wonder what happened.
All right, I'll pop him back in here in a second. All right, so now that we got past you getting the wind knocked out of you, growing up as a player, who did you admire the most as far as either a player or a coach? Was there someone that kind of stuck out to you?
Player wise, off the top of my head, Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
I wanted to pretty much mold. I wanted to mold my game around him at one point, because he just had such a high intensity, and it wasn't even more so just the play skill at first. It was just bringing a different energy to the field, and you know what I mean, just making yourself pop.
Yeah. Right. No. Hey, that's he's just one of those guys that I think a whole generation looked up to. Mike, can you hear me? I can't hear you, man. I'll try you again in just a second. All right. So, was there someone that kind of pushed you along the way as far as were you like a self-starter, or did you kind of have somebody that just kind of said, come on, man, get after it? Or was that somebody you just kind of possessed on your own?
My dad was definitely on my back the entire way, because he was always, when it came down to sports, especially with youth sports, everybody had to pay a little fee. You know what I mean? Whether it was $100, $125, so it's pretty much like if he was putting that money out, he was like, "Listen, like if you're doing this, you gotta go all out, man. Like you can't be half-assing. You know what I mean? Slacking." He's like, "You gotta go 120%,
right,
at all times." So he was pretty much my driving force to pretty much keep myself, going within the game.
All right, Mike, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Life was good, man. We got you.
Okay.
All right. Perseverance, man. Just keep at it. So the couple questions that I asked Troy was there anybody that kind of pushed you throughout your career, or is that something you just kind of did on your own? In other words, you just kind of stuck with it, or is there somebody that just had to keep reminding you to keep at it?
My father.
Yeah.
For definitely. I grew up in a very competitive family. I'm an only child, but I have a lot of cousins, a lot of first and second cousins that are around my age on both sides of my families, and everyone did a sport, and for the most part, a lot of them were successful at it. So for me, football was the one thing that was my own. A lot of my family members got into football like I did, but weren't able to succeed at the level I was. So being able to like compete with family, and find a niche that you're good at, it was really helped me with that. And my father kind of, I think after a while, he saw the potential I had, and he kind of drove me to be better. He was telling me, like, there's always going to be people that are more physically gifted than you, but that can all be changed with your work ethic. You can always outwork the next person.
No question about it.
A lot of that I can attest to my father.
Gotcha. So, Troy, I kind of go back to you again. Where did you ultimately play high school football? Where did you end up putting your football days in?
First 2 years of high school, I played at Longwood High School. So that was it was a good little experience, so to say. They were a Division I school, so it was one of the larger schools in the area, and football was pretty much one of their biggest things going. And then I came to the decision going into my junior year that I was gonna go back to my hometown, which was Riverhead, and finish my 2 years off playing with Coach Che and the rest of those guys over at Riverhead High School.
That was down in Long Island, right?
Yep.
Mike, where did you play your high school ball?
I originally started freshman year at Catholic High, Class C school at the time, very small. We only ended up winning 4 of our games, but it was a really good experience. They kind of threw me to the wolves, and I was starting middle linebacker as a freshman. Before that, my only football experience was 2 years of Pop Warner, so I didn't have a whole lot of experience like a lot of these other guys. So at like 14, 15 years old, I'm playing against 18, 19-year-old men pretty much. It was then that I realized I was good enough to kind of play against. So I initially was going to go back to Hehir High School. That's the kind of school district I grew up in. And the head coach at the time, Joe Burke, gave me a call and told me to give CBA a shot. And I appreciate that he did because it gave me a better understanding of a lot of things. My father is a graduate of CBA, class 78. So being able to go there and kind of follow in his footsteps was pretty cool. And so the season of 2013-14, we ranked number 1 in New York State and ended up making it to the semifinals of the state championship game. So that was pretty cool.
No, you can't beat that experience. What Pop Winter program did you play in? Was it South County?
I played for North County Bisons my first year.
Okay.
We were junior midgets, so it was 130 pound. The next year, all of my teammates ended up playing on the JV Shaker team. So me and Kenny had to transfer over to East Greenbush.
Oh, really?
We ended up playing for the East Greenbush Pop Warner team, and we were ranked top 10 in the nation for all Pop Warner teams at one point. We were really good. So it was a pretty cool experience.
No, that's outstanding. I mean, that's something you can definitely be proud of. No question. So going back to you again, Troy, did you have any college football experience?
Very, very slim.
Yep.
I was originally verbally committed at Western, Connecticut. And a couple things that kind of fell through the cracks, and I ended up with the ultimate destination of Hudson Valley. That worked out for maybe the first half of the season. Went through a couple of off the field issues. Went through an injury when I returned, and ultimately with JUCO, sometimes you hit a bump and you can't really recover too much from it, and that was one of my bumps.
Gotcha. All right, Mike, where did you have some college experience? I know you had some experience after high school.
Yeah, so after high school, I ended up I was originally going to go as a preferred walk-on to the University of Central Florida. Did my visit, went down there, did some practices with the team. Ended up fracturing my pelvis my senior year of high school, though. Didn't realize it until I kind of got down there. So I came back and went to a prep school in Massachusetts, in Great Barrington, to be exact, called East Coast Prep. Ended up being there. Similar to Troy's experience at Hudson Valley, left a bad taste in my mouth. I became homesick. The school it wasn't it for me. So I ended up going, and I played with Troy for a season at Hudson Valley. Similar experience. I don't know. I had to take a little bit of time off of football. I kind of lost my drive and my passion for the game after those 2 years. So I took 6-8 months off, transferred out of Hudson Valley, went to SUNY Albany. It was when I got there and realized that some of my high school teammates were there and playing that they kind of helped me get my love for the game back. So I ended up walking on and making the team at SUNY Albany. Was working my way up through the depth charts, spring ball, and a similar thing. Just I wasn't 100% committed to the game, and I realized that at that level, if I want to be as good as I could possibly be, I'd have to have the love for the game, which I just didn't have. So I ended up staying there for one season, leaving, and I got my degree and I kind of got out.
Gosh, yeah, it's you briefly kind of crossed paths with one of our other guys, Brady Hipsley, for just a little while, I think there, right? Or is that somewhere
Absolutely.
else?
I was on the team with Hipsley. We were both part of the linebacker core. Hipsley, believe it or not, before he went back to Saratoga High School, he was on CBA with me. He was a junior or a sophomore. Really? He was playing. Yeah, he was on JV my junior, senior year before he transferred out. So yeah, he was at CBA with me as well.
No, that's yeah, I hadn't known that. I know when we originally met, we had kind of discussed that you kind of knew him. I didn't realize that you guys spent some time together at CBA. So Troy, back to you again. So you've now joined the Storm. What kind of ultimately made the Storm a place that you want it to be?
Can you repeat that real quick?
Yeah. I said you've now this off season you've joined the team. What kind of attracted you to the Storm to come play here?
Just on an outsider's perspective, it just seemed like a top-notch organization within the semi-pro realm and the amateur football realm. I kind of bounced around with a couple of semi-pro teams just within you know what I mean, traveling within areas that I've lived. Obviously, I had my experience with the Long Island Eagles, Long Island Red Devils, Rhode Island War Dogs, and all great programs. All great organizations, and it is not really too many organizations where you can really say family and community oriented, and it just with Southern Vermont, it's just I kind of feel that again, and it's kind of like that really like home away from home type feel, that I can definitely tell is there.
No, I mean, my opinion is definitely basis, but through my career, I've had opportunities to kind of end up at other places, but at the end of the day, it always kind of always felt like a home. Now, when you were with the Rhode Island team, were they a NFL or excuse me, an NFL team at the time? Do you recall?
NFL AAA.
Gotcha. All right, Mike. I got the same question for you. What kind of made you make the decision to come join the Storm out of whatever teams are out there?
Honestly, it was sitting down and talking to you that one day. I found out that Troy was leaving, and he was kind of like the person that pushed me to play semi-pro in the first place. Like I said, after playing at UAlbany, I kind of realized I was done. I had a year of eligibility left to play college football. I was done. I got my degree, and I never really gave a thought to semi-pro, and not to be disrespectful in saying that. It's just I thought I was over. I thought like the window of my playing days were over. After college, usually for most people, you think of going to the next level like the NFL or just retiring. So Troy kind of pulled me out of the woodwork. Played for a different organization. It was great experience, and it really made me feel like I can compete here. I can be a really dominant player at a semi-pro program with the right coaching and the right people behind me. So sitting down with you kind of opened my eyes to a better understanding and a better respect for the semi-pro level of play. So it was to be honest, it was you that kind of gave me like that factor, that wow factor to join the team.
Well, I appreciate it. Like I said before, I kind of, I started off as a player back in 2006, and I had an opportunity to come back and kind of help run the team back in 2017, and it just gives you a renewed appreciation, and you kind of understand of all the stuff that you kind of took for granted when you were a player, and I've kind of tried to keep in mind, that I played here, but in the end, it's a big picture thing, and not focus on the small stuff and focus on the stuff that matters. And I think we're getting there. So having you guys on the team certainly, I think, helps us get to our ultimate goal, and that's a championship. So I'm going to go back to Troy here again. I know it's been tough as far as you joined the team. I think the first meeting we had. I haven't really had a chance to see a heck of a lot, only because with all the virus restrictions and all that stuff. But initially, what are your impressions of the team so far?
I'm excited. Honestly, it's probably the most excited I can say. You know what I mean? Going into a new season, just because just based off of guys that I've already just had brief conversations with, or guys that I already knew were a part of the team, or all stand-up guys, and especially with, some of our newest additions, this season, obviously Quentin coming back this season, he's a great friend of mine.
Yeah.
So it was like, I pretty much just had that eye pop just for like, I gotta see what it's like. I just want to experience it.
Yeah, I mean, having Quentin back, I mean, plus it also helps you guys can kind of carpool. So you guys are neighbors.
Yeah.
So it makes that much easier. So same thing for you, Mike. Like, what are your early exposures? I mean, where's your head at? How do you feel things going?
I mean, I'm excited. To the same extent that Troy is. Troy's got a little bit more experience and knows a couple more people on the team. But from who you told me was on the team, like Hipsley, I know him very well. There's a couple other players that I know through, whether it's flag or through other people from my semi-pro experience. I'm excited. It seems like you have a really well put together team. But at the same time, people like me and Troy coming from a different team, starting fresh, we have an opportunity to compete. which I feel was very important. I feel like that was my biggest thing in general with staying with football and playing is being given an opportunity. So I think that's exactly what you're doing, or at least trying to do. So I'm excited. I mean, the team looks good. We're in a solid conference as far as my understanding goes, and you're looking to play some good football and win, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's the name of the game, man. I'm excited. Also, as somebody that kind of keeps an eye on a lot of things, I'm really looking forward to everything. I mean, there's definitely going to be some things we're going to have to navigate through as far as delays, that sort of thing. But I think if we stick together and keep the eye on the prize, I think we're going to be just fine. So I'm going to go back to Troy here again. We've been lucky enough to be pretty productive in the recruiting standpoint this offseason. I know this might be a tough question to ask because you haven't really met anybody really per se, or even really seen them at practice. But who are you most looking forward to playing with this season?
Top of my head, definitely Wade. Just because I know he's a trench guy, and I'm always for a good competition in the trenches. Making each other better, and definitely learning a lot. Obviously, being next to Q. The Wiggins brothers, I definitely look forward to playing with them, because that's definitely talent right there. And when you add talent with talent, it just makes for scary sights. So
and they're great people too. I mean, that's the thing that I'm probably the most proud of, and that honestly, that's the hardest thing at this level, is trying to make sure that you don't mortgage character for talent. You know what I mean? And just try to keep that balance, and it's been hard, but I think we've done a good job of that so far. All right, Mike. Same thing with you. Is there someone that stands out that you're really kind of looking forward to getting a chance to play with?
Just like with disrespect a lot of other people on that team, you have a lot of solid players. From what you've been telling me, from your running back to your outside linebackers, to your offense and defensive line, you have some dogs on this team, and from playing linebacker, from a linebacker perspective, I'm very excited to be able to play next to Hipsley and your other guy,
Gary.
Yep, I'm very excited to play with those two. Hipsley, because he's kind of got the same type of experience as me. It's easy to bounce ideas off of, and Gary, for the sense that he's been there, he knows what's going on, and getting some insight from a veteran of his caliber is definitely interesting.
Yeah, Gary. Yeah, Gary's kind of he is the leader on the defense, and he's just a very smart player, fierce as hell, stubborn in a good way, but he's also a good enough, to kind of really understand that everyone's opinion matters in the sense of taking everything into consideration and seeing what works. He's not one of those guys that's going to sit there and tell you that it's my way or the highway. He's going to listen, but at the end, he always makes the right decision. So. From a coaching standpoint, he makes my life so much easier, and to be able to add you guys to it, I think it's going to make things that much better for everybody. I'm going to go back to you again, Troy. So, what would you consider a successful 2020 season?
Nothing less than a championship. Like I know that's such a generic answer, for anybody, but it's personal at this point. I've been to the promised land twice, and it came up just short twice, and then 2 semifinal losses elsewhere. There's nothing else on the table besides the championship.
No, I know I didn't ask myself this question, but I feel the same way. I mean, we went through a championship loss last year that I felt like we shouldn't have ever had happen. It wasn't one of those deals where I felt like we were the inferior team. We just weren't prepared, I don't feel like. And being able to, kind of have, I would say that maybe disappointment isn't the right word, but having the motivation to not do that again, I think puts us in a real good place, because the attitude of the team is so great coming off of a loss, which is hard to believe. But their mindset is where it needs to be, I think. Same thing with you, Mike. What do you see as a successful 2020 season?
I mean, there's two ways to measure that for me. Like Troy said, from a team perspective, obviously winning a championship. You know, blocking out all that noise. There's people out here, different teams that might not feel some type of way towards us. From a personal perspective, though, I've had a chip on my shoulder ever since last season ended. You know, I got something to prove, and I'm going to be playing that way this year. You know, from my experience prior to playing semi-pro to now, I'm ready to go and be given an opportunity on a team like this. I'm excited to. So.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for me, being able to kind of go where we felt like we should have went last year and maybe go a little bit further. So I'm super excited. I mean, for me, success means one thing: being number one at at the end of the year. Number two isn't good enough. So that's kind of where our mindset is. So going back to you again, Troy, what do you feel? What do you feel that you can bring to the team?
Off the top, intensity, a lot of energy. I don't want to sound like typical or anything like that, but I want to bring a swagger, a certain swagger. Like Mike said, you got to come out on the field with a chip on your shoulder. At this point, if you still play the game, you gotta play it because you love it. Nobody's here because it's just a pastime. Like if you truly love the game and you're still playing, you got to definitely bring your intensity off rip. So. Before anything, definitely intensity, because without that, you're nothing to begin with. So,
no, agreed. So, Mike, what do you feel is you bring to the squad for this year?
Just a hard work ethic. I can sit here and make all these promises in the world, but the fact of the matter is that a promise isn't going to get it done. The one thing I can't guarantee is I'll be at every practice. I'll be working. I'll be hitting. Troy can attest to that. I didn't miss a single practice last year. I didn't miss a single practice in college or in high school. I'm dedicated.
Yep.
Whether I play or not, if I'm just a guy that a team player, I'll be making the offense work in practice. If I am a player, if I am a starter, I'll be locking down the middle of the field and making sure that no one's running through A gap or B gap. I can promise you that. But
yep.
Like I said, like Troy said, it's a work ethic thing. I'm here to work, make the team better in any way I can.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and that makes me happy to hear. I mean, I know we talked about that before, and I know the expectation that you're going to be, here, day one. You can't replace hard work. I mean, I used to say, at least early on last year, I mean, I think it was somebody taped it, but basically I said, we work, we win. It's just that simple. You put in the work, you win. So that's something we got to make sure we keep track of this year. So go back to you, Troy. I got a couple more left here. What do you look forward to the most this season?
Honestly, competition. First off, just competition. Being in a new conference. I mean, I've obviously played in the NFL before, but this is new teams. It's been a couple of seasons, so just getting out there on the field, battling with new guys in the trenches, and facing off against other teams, different communities and environments. It's something to look forward to.
What is your opinion, or what is your experience playing in the NFL? I know it's a few years ago, but what were your takeaways from playing in that league versus others?
Very solid league. Off the top, every team had a great organization, except maybe one. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was the main thing. Great coaches in that league. Definitely great environments to play in. Even for our home games or either our away games, there was always solid crowds, and it was just good fun environments to play.
Okay, yeah, that's the NFL is the largest semi-pro league in North America. So I always like to ask around when guys have other experiences. Mike, what are you looking forward to this season?
Just being able to play, man. You don't really know playing a sport like football. I mean, you go to war every week, and you put your body on the line. So being fortunate to be able to play as long as I have, with minor injuries, every year is a blessing. So you never know how much longer you got left. Being able to play, play with a great organization like this that's dedicated to winning. Like we've talked about it, there's a lot of dogs on this team. So being able to play with these guys, make myself better, make a team better, and just continue to play the game I love, is really all I'm looking forward to doing.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of echo your comments. I think one of the biggest things that we're going to have to be prepared for is, as a team and as a group, is we're going to have to spread the wealth in a sense of everyone's going to have to step up at their different times to do different things. And as long as everyone's willing to, like you said, lay their body on the line, there's no reason why we can't go where we want to go. We're only as good as our attitude is going to take us. So, if we're willing to put in the work and do the right things, the sky's the limit. So, Troy, I'm going to go back to you again. What are your passions outside of football?
Spending quality time, with those closest to me.
Mm-hmm.
Every opportunity I get to go home and visit my family.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'm very to myself sometimes. Just music is a large passion of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Like I kind of feel like that just puts me in different moods. Kind of alter moods and stuff like that. Just like I'd mentioned before to you, like with my job and everything like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I spend majority of my time working. But I love my job for the most part. Love my individuals, and it's pretty simple.
Good. So, Mike, what's a passion of yours that somebody might not know about?
Honestly, my family.
Mm.
I've played a lot of different other sports. I've done a lot of things, and the one thing that sticks out with me is unity. And when I talk about family, I'm not talking about brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins. I'm talking about the people closest to me. And a lot of people lose touch with reality in that sense.
Yeah,
that's my biggest thing. The people that are really close to me, hanging out with them, being able to do stuff. Right now, I'm working nights, and my schedule is going to change for the season, but I'm still going to be working nights. So I'm not able to see my family and my friends as much as I want to. So being able to separate, work, football, and time with my family is very important to me. So that's kind of my whole thing. It might be boring. It might be, piggybacking off what Troy said. But
nothing wrong with that, man.
At the end of the day, if it wasn't for my family and my friends pushing me, people like Troy, I probably wouldn't be playing football right now.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha. All right. So last question. I guess this is off topic question. What TV shows or movies do you suggest currently to people that are staying at home to watch?
Oh man. Honestly, I keep my repertoire very slim. I'm only on Hulu and Netflix every now and then.
You only watch your Family Guy.
Nah, there's this show on NBC called Good Girls. Believe it or not.
Yeah, my wife likes that.
That comes out on Sundays. That's a really good show. So I kind of anticipate that since there's no sports right now too much, but then I'm a big wrestling nerd. So every Monday and Friday night I'm kind of occupied.
Well, hey, that's honestly only one of the few things that are going on right now. Mike, what do you like to watch?
Right now, there's only like 3 things I've been watching on Netflix, and that's On My Block is a solid show. All Americans phenomenal, and not like Troy. I don't like watching men hug each other, but I like the Witcher show on Netflix. So I was watching that. That's pretty cool. But my biggest recommendation is go to a Walmart. And they got those bins with the $3 movies. I went there the other day, dropped like $30, took home a stack of movies. They got some good old classic movies in there. That's my biggest recommendation.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, for me, if you haven't seen Step Brothers, you need to go watch it. That's all I got. So
they got the bundle, man. They got like 3 Will Ferrell movies. Phenomenal.
Yep, you got yourself a date night. All right, guys, that's all I really have. I don't know if you have any further comments or questions for me, but otherwise, I think we're good, man.
I have a solid question.
The only comment I got left is everybody with this coronavirus that's going around, be safe, practice your social distancing. It's real. Some of us didn't want to believe in it, but it's real. Let's come together. Let's get this out the way so we can get on the field. Storm is here and we ready to go.
Yeah, 100% agree. We're, as you've seen, communicating with the team, we're being smart about it. Of course, we have to fall within whatever the rules are, but we're gonna do everything we can to get on the field this year, and the NFL feels the same way. And I'll actually have the president of the NFL on the Storm Report on Friday to kind of fill everyone in as far as where they're at right now. So I'll see everybody on Friday.
All right.
Right. See you guys.
Take it easy.